to Natalie. Please tell everyone who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
Hi, my name is Lune. I am the founder of Monday Muse, which is a skincare and supplement brand based in London. It is a brand I started after dealing with my own skin struggles for many, many years, from child onwards to into my adulthood, early 20s. And after sort of clearing my own skin, I became very inspired. And yeah, here we are 5 years later.
Amazing. Natalie?
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm the founder of helloSKIN. We're a high-performance dissolvable skincare brand, meaning that all of our products dissolve in boiling water in under 10 seconds after use, helping to save the environment, essentially. I came up with helloSKIN because I love skincare. I spent so much on skincare, but I was wasting a lot of it as well. So it was trying to pair the two together. How can I help save the environment while also enjoying skincare?
Honestly, so relatable. As an eczema girly, I've spent a small fortune on skincare. So, Natalie, staying with you. So you built helloSKIN from scratch and bootstrapped it. What was the single hardest moment in the early days, and how did you push through it?
Well, it's still very hard, but I think small achievements really helped me to get through. So little things like designing the website and having people feedback and say how amazing the website was, and then having me say, well, I did it myself. Things like that really helped. And being able to, I guess, see feedback from our customers as well and see that people were enjoying the product, seeing the growth on social media, seeing like mini viral moments. They kind of helped me keep going and made me realize, okay, this is something different. This is something people actually like. And I started to see how we kind of stood out from other brands.
Yeah, I guess like one of the positives as well of being a one-woman band starting is that you do get all the positive feedback and the constructive criticism, and you can build an action straight away. Lune, so you launched straight out of uni with no prior experience, which is amazing in itself. What did you underestimate about starting a brand?
A lot of things. When you start anything out of university, I think you have big dreams and hopes. But one of the biggest things I underestimated was the importance of sales and marketing. I think when you start something from a deep-rooted problem and passion, you are very focused on creating a good product. So I was very invested in the formulation process, working with an amazing cosmetic chemist that I found, building the website, doing all of that feels like such a big mountain to climb. And then you're very aware when you launch your business, when you're live, how hard it is to actually sell your product, to convince someone to buy, put your trust into, trying something that they have to put on their skin. I think it's also a bit the nature of our business that we're in. That is something that, if I could go back in time, would really, really focus on consumer behavior, buying psychology, storytelling. I think that was, one of the biggest things, because ultimately people cannot buy what they don't know exists. So getting that awareness is very important.
Get it in front of people. Natalie, so you've launched a national TV advert. Well done, by the way, Channel 4, if anyone's seen it. What made you confident enough to take that step, and what did it unlock?
So I actually won a competition with Channel 4, which granted me a £100,000 advertising budget, an advert essentially. The process of putting the advert together and essentially turning my Pinterest board into a TV advert was very daunting, but the results, there are no words for the results really. The brand awareness was unreal. We had customers, we unlocked new customers that we didn't think we could reach. It enabled a new level of brand trust. People saw the advert on TV, they saw the brand, and then they trusted it more. When the brand was mentioned someone, they said, oh, I saw that on Channel 4. And things like that just really made a difference. The growth in our mailing list, so that essentially tripled. Our social media followings increased, and of course sales went through the roof. it also unlocked new conversations with retailers that we had been trying to get into, and now they were coming to us. So that was really, really interesting. And yeah, we've got a few exciting things to announce this year.
Amazing. And just out of interest, would you have launched that advert if you hadn't have won that competition?
No, because I wouldn't have had the money. But because of that and the feedback we've had from Channel 4, the advert performed so well that they want to work with us again, and they're willing to help us to be able to put the advert back on TV financially.
So they unlocked a door.
Yeah.
I'm sure loads of people in the room are now Googling Channel 4 TV advert. And then Lune, so obviously, you started this brand straight out of uni and built it from the ground up. So when that growth started to come, what nearly broke the business operationally?
I thought about this, but we luckily have never had any one pivotal moment that nearly broke the business. I think what's very important early on is to really understand your numbers, and more importantly, cash flow. I'm sure everyone knows that in this room. If you don't have the cash in the bank, you are going to struggle. No matter what your business looks like on paper, I think that became very, very apparent. So, and as if you're a bootstrapped founder, you are going to have to get clever with the money that's available to you. So I think we didn't have any one big moment, but I think that was because I was so careful with the cash that we had in the bank and not sort of overextending ourselves and exposing ourselves into inventory. I think that would probably be one of the biggest things had I been in trouble, that you have so much money tied up in stock that you're not selling fast enough. But because of, again, kind of the nature of our business, we don't need to bring out new collections, like fashion, for example. You can kind of keep, selling the same product. So I think that also makes that a bit easier sometimes in the supply chain. You don't need a lot of cash in the same way as you do in other businesses. So, yeah.
And speaking of, being safe with the cash front, what was one financial decision that felt risky but changed your trajectory?
Hiring a team around me. For the first few years, you don't have money to invest into a team. So it was me and some freelancers for the first nearly 3 years of the business. And when you hire people full-time into your business, I think you hire them with the intention to not make anyone redundant or not have the money to keep them. So it felt quite risky in the sense that this is someone I'm, paying a wage every month and national insurance, all of that. But stuff. Also, this is now a fixed cost. This is not something I can, on a retainer with a freelancer, you can pause or change, the fee structure. This is now someone who's in your business for the long run, hopefully. And but it changed the trajectory tremendously, because I realized that over the years I was spread so thin towards the end that you're kind of dropping the ball in many different areas. So it kind of prevents you from kind of unlocking that new level of growth. So it felt a bit risky at the time, but I think it changed the business ultimately.
Amazing. And Natalie, as Lune just mentioned, hiring people in and when you grow. As helloSKIN grew, what changed in your role as a founder, and what was the hardest to let go of?
A lot started to change because I realised, as Lune said, I can't do everything myself, so I did have to start hiring people. I did start with freelancers as well, and then it was more permanent hires. The biggest thing that changed within my role was, I guess, not doing everything and not having to, even though I still think about every single part of the business, it was knowing that I actually don't have to do that because I have someone else to do that. So it was just like a weight off my shoulders. To be honest, with the people that I work with, I don't think helloSKIN would be in the place that it's in without them. I know I couldn't have done this all on my own. So I'm happy that I took that jump to hire people, but I'm also grateful because they've helped to change the business.
And did using freelancers sort of give you that confidence to make the more permanent step?
Yeah, because I think with freelancers, I was able to try out a few different freelancers, and then the person who I guess worked the best for us, we ended up hiring.
Amazing. Lune, so if you were launching Monday Muse in 2026 instead of when you did, what would you do differently?
I think I would be much more focused on building out a strategy around sales and marketing. I think in the beginning it took me a long time to understand how important it is. It sounds a bit silly now saying that, but when you're, again, start a business out of university with no prior experience other than a few internships, I just didn't think that far ahead. So when I had these thousands of units sitting there ready to be sold, I became very aware that you need to figure out really clearly who your customer is, how you're going to reach them, how you're going to convince them. And there's so many things you can do, whether it's paid media. I think that was a big unlock. We didn't do any paid media for the first 2 years of the business. But it can, fuel things so much and very quickly. But you have to be careful not to obviously overspend. It can be a black hole as well. But yeah, just influencer, optimizing the website, everything has to work in tandem. But I think that would be something I would flesh out from the get-go if I were to start again.
Yeah, it's a constant job, isn't it? You can't just launch a site and hope for the best. It's living. And Natalie, so looking ahead to 2026, even though we're nearly quarter in now, what do you believe founders need to stop doing in order to grow sustainably?
I don't think that all brands need to have a founder as the face of the brand. We're not a founder-led, well, we are founder-led, but my face isn't anywhere on our website, on our socials. I'm just behind the scenes. I want to grow the brand, but I don't feel like I need to be all over social media. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure for founders to do that at the moment. I've done okay so far. So I don't think I want to do it. I'm happy to pop up and do press, but I don't want to do like TikTok videos and whatnot. I just don't think that that's a necessity. I just don't think that's a necessity, and I think there's a lot of pressure at the moment for people to do that, but I don't think you have to do that.
So true. You want the brand to stand on its own, don't you? And you need a holiday sometimes. And then one last one for both of you, actually. What is one piece of advice you are tired of hearing as a female founder? I
thought about this, but weirdly, I've not had any sort of controversial advice as a female founder.
I'm the same. Yeah, I don't think anybody said anything to me that they wouldn't say to a guy.
Maybe it's also the type of industry that we're in.
Yeah.
But I think that a piece of advice that I have heard a lot is that I don't think is that clever nowadays is go really quick and fix the problems later. I think nowadays you're much better off doing things with a lot more intention, because losing a customer is very easy because they're in a sea of other brands. It's so competitive. So you want to make a good first impression, and I think that if you launch a product too quickly or you do things in a way that puts people off, I think you're kind of paying a price for that in the long run. So I think that's just more general.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think just some general advice based on what I've learned is that you don't have to rush. We've just come into our 4th year, and I took time to build the brand. I made mistakes. I learned from those mistakes. I relaunched our hero product twice because I needed to get it perfect. And once I perfected it, then I started to see the change. I started to see the increase in sales. So I'm glad that I took my time and didn't rush to push a product out there that wasn't completely ready.
What a positive way to end as well. I absolutely love the fact that no one got any controversial advice. What a way to end it. Well, thank you so much. And are you hanging around for the rest of the day? People pick your brains?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to get a lot of questions. Thank you so much.